Hey YouTubers, Mike Boards with the Mike Boards channel. Thank you for watching. Today a simple DIY project. We're going to show you the steps on how to replace your water outlet valve on a Chevy Cruze. Let's get started. Alright YouTubers, outside at the Chevy Cruze, and in the previous video we drained the entire coolant system, and that is a very important step. Do it right. Make sure your engine is in the off position for a minimum of 3 hours. In the event that you need guidance on how to properly drain the coolant system, which I recommend, I'm going to post a link in the comments below. Definitely check that out. At the reservoir tank now, and it has been about 4.5 hours since we turned the engine off. And just for precaution purposes, we are going to use a paper towel and slowly open the cap. And over the course of 4.5 hours, the pressure and temperature should have dissipated to a point where it should not spray or release any pressure out of the tank. All right, now that the pressure is released, I'll just go ahead and put the cap back on. And inside the engine, here is our water outlet valve. It's a very uniquely shaped part, and it just directs coolant in different directions throughout the coolant system, one of which going back to the reservoir tank. So we'll get right into it. First thing I mentioned in a previous video, we replaced this hose, which has a factory sealed connection point, because the bottom portion of this connection point broke off in the top portion of our water outlet valve and it was causing a leak. So I will also post a link in the comment section below. Prior to actually replacing your water outlet valve, check to see if the connection point here is broke off inside. So first step, let's remove the negative terminal to your battery, cut all electrical power to the engine. And you do not need to remove the 10mm nut completely, just back it off to a point where you can remove the connection point. Set it in a safe location where it's not going to hop back up on the battery and make connection. From here, we are going to remove this connection point, this little plastic clip here. As you remove it, you just grab it with 2 fingers, shift it back, but be careful. Do not drop this in the engine. It will be tough to find. That's what it looks like. Set that aside. Back to the connection point and carefully pull it out of the top portion of your water outlet valve. Now again, we drained the system, but be advised there still may be some coolant in this hose and it may leak, so you might want to catch that with a towel or clean it up with a towel. Next, we will remove this electrical connection point and this little tab here. Push down and pull rearward. Set that aside. Down here is a clamp. Grab your flathead screwdriver, loosen this clamp. We want to remove this big bulky hose that is in the way of our water outlet valve. This hose is a little stubborn. I had to set the camera down and use both hands to remove it. From here, just kind of pull it outward and shift it over to the side, and just be very careful because you don't want to harm any portion of the hose down below. From here back to the water outlet valve, well, it kind of looks like ours is already disconnected. You have a connection point here that feeds into this little square hole down below, and it should just shift up and out. Once you remove it from the actual part, you don't need to do anything else with this. Just kind of shift it out of the way as you remove this and insert the new one. However, down below you've got an additional connection point that is a temperature sensor, and you will notice this little tab here. Just press in and at the same time apply rearward pressure and remove this clamp. And sorry I got in the way there, but that's what it looks like, and that's what that looks like. And the new part will come with a new sensor. From here you've got 3 hoses. You've got one here we need to remove, one larger one down here that has those non-friendly clamps, and then the upper hose here, we remove all 3 of those. Quick update, I didn't really have a good place to set the camera and show you how I removed this clamp. However, pliers, and here's what I did. I shifted it up onto the actual water outlet valve as opposed to rearward on the hose, because I'm going to throw these clamps away and install more friendly clamps. From here you can remove the hose. And again, be careful. It may leak just a little bit, and as you remove this hose, you'll notice the clamp wants to come with it. Just do your best not to drop that clamp. And a little bit of coolant's leaking out, and I will remove this clamp and throw that away. From here, I will remove the upper clamp here, remove this hose, and give me better access to this clamp. From here, I'm going to remove that lower clamp, and it looks pretty tough to get to. I'm going to grab some needle nose pliers, compress it, and rotate it to give me better access. The more I look at this clamp, I'm not really going to be able to get a good grab on it to rotate it. So what I'm going to do, you got two options. Remove this cover to your oil filter, which I don't really want to do. I'm going to remove the 3 E10 bolts that secure the water outlet valve to the actual engine block. You got one here, and you got one down below, and one on the opposite side. And I went to our local AutoZone and I purchased this cool little Duralast 9-piece external torque socket set. It's got the E4 down to E16, and in our case, we will need the E10. Once you loosen all three of those E10s, they don't actually come all the way out of the water outlet valve part itself. Go ahead and pull it away from the engine block, and it is leaking just a little bit of coolant, and I will carefully pull the water outlet valve out, and be careful with the electrical wires. And from here, I'll change camera directions and pull off that clamp. Making progress. Again, this clamp is just compressed the same as the smaller ones. It's a little more firm. You may need a little more muscle. Here's the old water outlet valve on the back side. I just put this towel in there. Pay close attention to this inner portion here. There's supposed to be a rubber gasket there. It's not there. Come back down to the engine. There it is. Can you see it? It's right here. And we need to remove that. It may be stuck on there pretty good, however, it's coming off pretty good in our case. So it looks like the new part comes with a new gasket. From here, I'm going to spend a couple minutes and clean and dry up the entire area where coolant leaked, as well as clean this mating surface really well and make sure it's dry prior to inserting the new part and seating that gasket. Spent a few minutes and dried up all the area as well as cleaned the mating surface of the engine. Again, the whole purpose of that is when it becomes time for the leak check, after you replace everything, put everything back together and start the engine and check for leaks. I don't want coolant that leaked out during the replacement process to actually make me think it's leaking when really it's not. So that's the main purpose of doing that. From here, let's go grab the new part. Here's the new part. There's the part number. Dorman aftermarket brand from AutoZone. New part comes with quite a lot. It comes with the 3 E10 bolts, comes with the connection point there, and it comes with a rubber gasket, as well as that internal sensor, as you can see right there, and that electrical connection point. Now, let's install it. From here, we're going to lubricate this gasket because it will help this gasket to properly seat itself to the engine block. And I'm using brand new oil, and be very easy with the amount of oil you put on this gasket. You just want to lubricate this gasket. From here, we will maneuver this new water outlet valve into place, align the thread properly, and secure those 3 E10 bolts. And again, get a good feel for the thread. Hand tighten them first. Do not cross thread these bolts. You do not want to cross thread this bolt into the engine. That would not be good. From here, what I will do is tighten these in a star pattern to properly seat the gasket. I'll start with this one. I'll tighten that a bit, slide over to the upper left bolt, tighten that, come all the way down to the bottom, and tighten that one. All 3 E10s are snug. Do not over tighten these E10 bolts. You do not want to snap these bolts in your engine. Now it's time to re-secure the lower hose, and Again, I did not like those original clamps. Those are going in the garbage. And what I did from our local AutoZone, I purchased an assortment kit, and it looks like this inner clamp will work best for that lower hose. Let's remove it, and we will place it on the actual hose prior to connecting it to the water outlet valve. And another tip real quick, you see this little tab here that sticks out on the water outlet valve? That is the stopping point of your hose. So I will position the actual clamp on and grab the hose and install it. Hose is on, clamp is secured, and I position the actual clamp where it's not going to interfere with the hose coming on this connection point. And this is an 8mm, and I'll just tighten it down to create that watertight seal. At this point, this hose and clamp are secured. As you tighten this down, don't over tighten it because you don't want to tighten it to a point where you rip the hose. From here, I'm going to grab a larger clamp, put it on the hose, and secure the lower hose. Position it where the screw is on the right hand side if you're standing in front of the engine. And again, there's the stopping point. Get this hose all the way on to its stopping point. Just like that, and I will secure that clamp. Making progress, lower hose and clamp are secured, and the upper hose. Clamp on first and shift hose into place and secure this clamp. Upper hose and upper clamp secured, and come down below, you've got this electrical connection point to the sensor. Go ahead and insert it, press it in until it makes the clicking sound. Just like that. And this connection point into the square hole there, and from here, it doesn't look like it's really going in, so that's probably why ours was not connected to the old one, because this part's broken. Time to carefully shift this hose back into place and secure it, and tighten down that clamp. Hose is on, clamp secured, and the electrical connection point. Push until you hear it click, and our return hose. Align it properly, push down, and we will grab that securing clip and secure it. Do your best not to drop it. Again, it'll be tough to find. Just like that. Go ahead and re-secure the negative terminal to your battery. Negative terminal is secured to the battery, and that completes the replacement process for your water outlet valve. Now it's time to refill the entire system with coolant, and I have already made a step-by-step video that you may find very helpful. There is a proper way to add coolant to this Chevy Cruze engine, so I will post a link down in the description below in the comments. Definitely check that out. From here, double check you're not leaving any tools in the engine compartment, and after you fill the system with coolant, take it for a test drive and verify no leaks. Hope the video helped. YouTubers, do us a favor. Below the video, you will see that thumbs up icon. Click on that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Definitely go to your settings, turn on your YouTube notification bell. Once you do that, every video that we upload, you will be notified. You will be able to stay up to date with us, and that will be awesome. Thanks